So Dan, hello. So do you want to maybe tell our viewers and listeners who you are?
Yeah, my name's Dan Sugarman. I play lead guitar in a band called Ice Nine Kills. We are, I guess you'd call like an American horror themed metal band. And what we do is make crazy music for crazy people. And it's been a blast doing what we've been doing in this past, I guess, year and a half, 2 years over the pandemic, working on this new record. And we're just gearing up to release the Silver Screen Part 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. And we couldn't be more stoked about this.
Awesome. So how did you get into music and into guitar specifically?
Oh wow, that is a great question, man. I grew up with my mom's brothers. She had three other brothers. They were all really musical people. Like one of them is a world-class jazz pianist. The other one is a fantastic drummer, and the other one was a blues guitar player. And I grew up going to like family events where they would just perform for everyone, right? And I thought it was the coolest thing in the freaking world. And when I got old enough, I kind of came to them and I was like, guys, I want to play guitar. Like guitar is like speaking to me. And for my bar mitzvah, which is when you turn 13, when you're a Jewish boy like myself, when you turn 13, you have this awesome like becoming of age type celebration with your family. And all of my family members pitched in and got me a Gibson SG, like a legit guitar. And I was like expecting a piece of crap, and they gave me like the Mecca, the holy grail of instruments. And I committed my life to it, like right on the spot. I was just like, this is everything for me. And I think I spent the next 6 years in my bedroom just working on that thing, man. So for me, it was always around me in my upbringing. My mom was really, really into like all different kinds of eclectic music. My dad was into virtuoso style music. Like he showed me a lot of like jazz, Pat Metheny, John McLaughlin, Chick Corea, like all of this like fusion stuff as I was growing up. So there was this air of musicians around my family, and then also my dad being obsessed with like virtuous musicians, and it kind of just like thrust me into really, really, really wanting to care about the instrument and take it as far as I could.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
And so like you said, you guys do like horror music mostly. So
yeah.
how did you get into horror movies?
Well, ironically, my uncle Stu, one of the guys who pitched in to get me this guitar, he's been a horror actor in a lot of big, like legendary movies since before I was born. He was in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, he was the only surviving person. He was Ted. He was the guy who was shit-faced at the bar who stumbles out at
Oh,
the end.
yeah, yeah, I
You
see.
remember that?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, so that was I think one of his first movies. He also did, I think actually right before that he did Once Bitten with Jim Carrey, which is not necessarily a horror movie, but it's about vampires. So it's like that was kind of thrust into there. He did a movie called Christine, which was a Stephen King book.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen Christine too.
Yeah, yep. And then he also was in a bunch of X-Files episodes. So like all of my life, I grew up being forced to like watch these vulgar, bloody murder scenes, right? And I actually remember being like a small, small, small kid. I was probably like less than 7 years old and going to my grandma's house in upstate New York. And the entire den, which is where me and my brother would hang out because there was like pool tables and ping pong and stuff like that down there. All of the walls were plastered with my uncle's movie posters. And I had the hardest time sleeping at that house because of that. Like every day, just looking at all these messed up posters, dude. It was interesting, man. So for me, I kind of like grew up being around it. And ironically, when I was this is side note, you could put this in if you want because it's real, but my brother was watching The Exorcist with one of his buddies for like a sleepover at our house one night, and I just like stuck around and watched it, and I was like maybe 9, something like that, and it was so bad it put me in therapy, dude. It
Oh,
was like,
wow.
yeah, it messed. I still, if I close my eyes right now, I could see Reagan's face, and it's like sends chills down my spine, man.
Yeah,
So
no,
I,
I can see that because that movie, when you were like eight or
yeah,
nine or 10, it's
dude.
terrifying.
It's so real. It is so real. I literally have like full body goosebumps right now thinking about it, right? It's the funniest thing. Actually, one of my buddies was like, "Oh, dude, they're bringing that movie back. Do you want me to send you the trailer for it?" And I was like, if they show Reagan's face, I'm not going to ever want to watch that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. I'm half joking, but it's a thing that for me, horror has always been in my life, and I've always gotten like a really visceral reaction from it. Like it's always spoken to me in a way where it makes me terrified, and that's fucking awesome. Or it's just exciting, and that's fucking awesome. So for me, the wild nature of what we do in this band is kind of something that I don't want to say is in my DNA, but it's been a part of my family for a long time, and it makes perfect sense. We actually sing a song about Friday the 13th. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
I hear it's one of
it's
my
weird.
favorite songs from the previous album.
Oh, dude, thank you so much, man. It's weird. It's definitely weird, you know?
Yeah. Oh, because I also love horror movies. I've been watching horror movies since I was probably 10 also,
Yeah.
and I probably should have gone to therapy for it.
You know what also got me, dude? The pet cemetery scene where the little boy cuts the Achilles tendon.
Oh, that scene! It messed me
Yeah,
up. It messed me up pretty bad.
both of those scenes, like to this day, still make me just go like I could just curl in a ball. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I have an irrational fear of getting my Achilles tendons cut from under my bed now.
is it from? It's from that, dude.
It's from Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's early enough in your life, you kind of like formulate reality based on those things. So it was early enough to where there was a demonic baby beneath every bed for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? With a fucking scalpel in his hands.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's the
Yeah,
same
it's so
for
funny,
me,
man. I'm glad I'm not alone. Oh,
Okay, so let's talk a little about your latest album, which comes out
yeah,
in two
man.
weeks,
On the
right?
15th.
The
Jeez, we're
15th.
close. I'm so excited, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So am I. So am I. I love the previous one. I loved the Silver Scream, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys do
Are you all caught up on the
next.
3 singles we've
I
had so
love.
far?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, loved all
That
three of
makes me
them.
that makes me so happy to hear, man. We put a lot of thought and time and effort into making sure that we were like hitting the marks of what people wanted to hear. Like, and as far as having like a response to like, Savages or a response to Mary Axmis, like we wanted to have like the evil twin of all of these songs on this new record, and they are fucking evil. They are evil.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the creative process for Welcome to Horrorwood? Like how did you write it? Did you always was it always part of the plan to have like two albums centered on horror movies or?
So I gotta be. There's a certain amount of excitement that stays in this band because of the like ambiguity of things, right? So I gotta make sure I don't say certain things, but like at the end of the day, man, this band is really, really, really on the mark when it comes to staying on themes. Like the branding of this band is something to behold. Like from an outsider looking in, it's really solid, and from an insider looking out, it's what people expect. So like we walked into writing this record knowing what we were going to do, and I'm pretty sure that the fan base could assume what we were going to do, but there are a lot of really, really cool twists and turns that we've included inside of this record that a lot of people will have to like dig for. Like Easter eggs, like the concept of like we like to play around with a
Yeah.
lot of Easter eggs, and it's done in the way that we're doing storytelling. It's done in the lyrics, and there's actually I spent a lot of time trying to implement Easter eggs musically. um there are a couple, like I wish I could talk about it because it's not out yet, but in 2 weeks we'll know. But there's a lot of things where like there's subconscious, like meta, self-referential things that are happening musically that I think are a cool like nod to previous things or a nod to other concepts of things we're paying homage to. But effectively, dude, everything that we create gets filtered through the genius that is Spencer Charnas. This man is just coming up with some of the most ridiculous ideas, and he knows exactly what he wants to hear. And he brings these insanely awesome ideas to the bandmates and I, and we sit down all together and we just hammer away at them, dude. And we've come up with a whole array of songs that I think all of our fan base are going to be super, super receptive for. Uh, but there's also a series of songs that we didn't get to take to the finish line that like they'll always be there. You know what I mean? So like we have a lot of, how do I want to say this, man? The process behind what we do is, do you want to know how a hot dog is made?
Well, I'm not sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? So there's almost a certain air of like the way that we create songs is really, really, really storyline first, right? Like we want to take into account, like if there's a moment in this song where like a really big kill scene happens, we want to make sure that like that's the breakdown, and then the lyrics are depicting that moment in the song. So we're really trying to make sure that there's like moments in time that are served in the song, but simultaneously we're also trying to create this world or this universe around the bands as far as the sounds and the things that we can include and get away with, like the horror Broadway thing that we're leaning into more and more and more with our live show, is absolutely infused in some of these tracks. I mean, you guys have heard this on all of our records where we have these like beautiful, gorgeous, haunting piano intros with like just piano and a vocal and maybe some like marching band snare. It's like very theater. Do you know what I mean? So we've leaned into that tremendously. But we've also managed to get far more extreme and far more epic at the same time. Like there's a lot of extremes that we managed to go deeper on that I think are going to be really, really tangible to anyone listening to this, whether they've heard our stuff before or not. Does that answer your question, dude? Yeah, I hope that answers it.
Yes, very much. That is even better than
Cool.
what I was
Yeah.
hoping. So, without revealing too much, if you can, what's your favorite track
Well,
of the album?
shit.
Out of the three that already have been
Absolutely.
released, yeah, what's your
So
favorite?
out of the 3 singles that we've dropped so far, Hip to Be Scared, the first one, that was our response to Grave Mistake. You know what I mean? Just this big, epic, ballady, 6/8 explosive, kind of like swaying, powerful song, right? And then we came out with Assault and Batteries, which is the most crazy song I've ever been a part of, right? And this was our response probably to like It Is the End, you know, the zany, super twisted clown fucking mindset that whole song was focused on. We wanted to take that to the next level in reality. So I would say as a musician and as a guitar player, Assault and Batteries is one of the most fun songs to have written, to play, to listen to, because there's so much harmonic twists and turns inside of it. There's so much chromaticism that makes it just like maddening to listen to. And there's just a level of like terrifying zaniness, but comedy in the song that I think is like something that we really, really nailed on the head. So I'd probably say Assault and Batteries is my favorite. But then on this flip side of that, Rainy Day came out, and like I could listen to that song on repeat without getting tired of it because it is so catchy, right? Like the hook in that. I watched people listen to that song for the first time and they're singing along to the chorus during the first chorus after they've never heard it before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those
Catchy. It is very catchy. It's very easy to sing. It's a real.
I was about to say
earworm.
that song is built around an earworm, and the fact that you know that is really exciting. So to me, there are certain pieces of each of these songs that I like adore. Hip to Be Scared is like this elegant, beautiful, like ballroom classy song. Assault and Batteries is just a terrifying, getting buried alive type of feeling. You know what I mean? And then Rainy Day comes out and is just like powerful, heavy hitting rock song. Musically speaking, Assault and Batteries speaks to me the most, but I cannot wait for October 9th so that everyone can hear the 4th single that we have, because that's probably the one that I would say is my favorite. For a few different reasons. It's definitely one of the heaviest on the record. It has tons of crazy stuff going on. It is very, very shreddy on the guitar, and the storytelling in this song I think is like top notch as far as what we've done on all of the other songs. There's like moments in this song that are so directly from the movie, and the way that it's done chronologically I think is just so fun to listen to.
So you mentioned Assault and Batteries, and in the Assault and Batteries music video, there's a cameo from a YouTube channel called Dead
Yes.
Meat.
James.
And so, yeah, so I'm gonna take a page out of James A. Genesis' book and ask you, what's your favorite horror movie?
What's my favorite horror movie? You know, it's a mixture of, I'd say these are my top three, and maybe if you're like, ooh, I love that one, I'll go, all right, that's the one. But I would say Hereditary, The Witch, and Mother. What do you think about those three?
Well, I absolutely love Hereditary.
Right?
Ari Aster is a genius.
Is that the guy who did Midsummer as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh, I have goosebumps on my body. Yeah, dude.
I love his movies.
That stuff is so twisted. The way that he infuses like occultism mixed with like the human nature of just like the inside workings of a family, but he like twists it into some like, dude, I don't know what that guy does. Oh, also there's a movie called The Ritual that was pretty freaking awesome too. It's about people going hiking.
Think I've seen it. Yeah, I think I've seen it. It's
Ooh,
on
that
Netflix,
one's twisted.
right?
Yeah, they go hiking in the woods and they like it's like they're like hiking in the woods. I think their friend died and their friend always wanted to go hiking in these woods, so they like take his ashes to go traveling there.
Yeah.
They do this hike and they try to like they need to stay in a cabin because something weird goes on in the cabin they're staying at. I'm literally freaking out thinking about it. They're all like sleeping and they wake up to their friend like naked in front of this like monument like this. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember that
Oh
scene.
god,
Yeah.
it's so creepy, dude. And then I think at the end of it, there's like this witch animal creature that like rules the forest or something, and it's like there was like
Yeah,
thousands
yeah.
of years of worshiping this thing. I don't know. I love
No,
that.
I've seen it. It's
Yeah,
it's
anything
also
that's like
amazing.
witchy, occulty, like in the woods, like those kinds of things. I'm something about that I really like. Did you see Mother? Did you see Mother though, dude? Because that one's
I haven't. I know it's on my list of movies that I
I
have
wouldn't
to
say
see.
it's like a horror movie per se, because it doesn't become it until the last 10 minutes of the movie, and you've never been more horrified in your life. It's like a build up to this thing, and the whole time you're trying to figure out what's going on, and then finally it like clicks, and the whole movie collapses into hell, and it's just like, what is going on? It's awesome.
No, it's in the list of movies
Yeah.
that came out like in those past few years that I have
Hit
to
me up
see.
after when you watch it, and let me know what you think, man. I'm definitely curious for
I'll let
sure.
you know. um. So you guys been touring for some time, well, before COVID, of course.
God, we haven't been touring for some time, is what the real sentence is. Jesus, two
Yeah,
years.
but
Yeah,
it's
it's
a long
weird.
time.
It's weird.
Uh, so what's your I don't know, like best like touring story? Like what's your favorite memory or favorite moment from when you were on tour?
Huh. I'm going through like 10,000 like off days we've had together where like we'll be like, yo, let's go see a movie and then go to like Top Golf and then go to like an arcade. Like there's like fun days like that. There's fun days where we'll be like in Florida and we'll all like decide to rent jet skis and like be idiots like that. Um Man, but in reality, dude, if I really look back, my favorite days on tour are when we have like an off day and we're in somewhere. Not even saying this to blow smoke up your ass. I'm literally remembering walking around France for like, I think we walked 15 miles, just the whole entire day, just walking around France. Um, Walked to like the Eiffel Tower. We walked all on like the side streets to find like all those good coffee shops and like pastries and just I think like being submerged in any culture whenever we're outside of America, no offense America, but whenever we're outside of America, it's it's amazing to see the culture, dude. It's amazing to see the architecture and like the time that's like when you go into America and you're like, whoa, that house is old, it's like 100 years old. Like, shut up. We're talking 3,000-year-old cathedral here in Europe, you know what I mean? Like it's just a different story. So there's a certain air of just like breathing in the history of being in Europe, wherever we are, or honestly anywhere. Because I've done a lot of traveling in like other bands as well, being in like Thailand or Japan or China or Russia. Like there's been so many instances where I'm just like, holy shit, this is Moscow. Like I only ever played Moscow in video games when I was like 10. Like it's just, I think it's those moments where you like are where you've never thought you could be, and then you realize that guitar was like the gasoline that put me here. I think that those tend to be the moments for me that I like hold near and dear to my heart, because yeah, it's really cool when we yep. Okay, we also had like an off day in Amsterdam where we were invited to go watch Muse perform. Coolest concert of my life, right? But I still might even say walking around Spain or France or like something like that might be a better day for me, because it's like it's a cultural experience instead of just like I could watch this on YouTube and watch Muse. Like I could, you know what I mean? Like it's a slightly different thing. Sure, it's an experience, but there's something that feeds my soul differently. I think about being in a culture. Yeah.
Well, that's a very good
Hopefully,
answer.
dude. I'm trying not to bullshit too much, but it's real.
No, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you when you talk. So, final question. Speaking of touring, if you were to tour with one band,
Oh no.
with Ice Nine
Oh
Kills,
no.
who would
Oh.
it be?
Is this like a current band, or is this anything ever?
Any band, anytime, any band ever.
You know what? I'm gonna say the Beatles in their heyday in like the '60s, because if we could perform as Ice Nine Kills currently as we are in the '60s and travel back in time when they're playing to like 10 million screaming girls, I think that would be the funniest thing on planet Earth.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
would
yeah, yeah.
pass out, but not for the
Like,
same
like
reasons.
going from "I wanna hold your hand" to "I'm gonna slit your fucking throat." Like, like I would love to see the world react to that. And also, there was no bigger fan base ever, right? Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
I,
I would
I
pay
think-
to see that.
I think-
would
I
pay
think-
to see that.
I think the world would like to invest in a time machine just so that can happen. Like, it's, yeah, dude.
Count me in. Set up a crowdfunding page.
Like
and-
the obvious, like the simple answer would be like Slipknot, Avenged Sevenfold, Lamb of God. Like those would be bands that like take us out. That would be fucking the sickest thing ever. Metallica, Megadeth, that level stuff. But if it's like an anytime, any place thing, the Beatles, man.
that would be an interesting pairing.
Yeah, I bet you did not expect that response.
I did not, but I'm not gonna lie. I would
Yeah.
love to see it.
Dude, I like just, yeah, dude, I feel like I would pay to see that. Like, straight up. Oh, man. Yeah.
Amazing. So, I guess that's it for me. That's all my questions, and I think we're running out of time because I think you have other interviews to do.
Yeah,
after,
no worries,
after
dude.
that.
Do I have any moment to
So-
like drop any info or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I usually end my interviews asking you if there is anything you want to say. So I guess, given the horror movie theme, do you have any last words?
Don't do it. Well, I cannot wait for our new record to come out. I cannot wait to see how it hits everybody's ears. I cannot wait to see the reactions everyone has. Like the the world of YouTube reactions, I didn't expect that to be so entertaining. Like watching someone react to one of our new songs is like, it's really funny. I love watching those. So I cannot wait to see people reacting to those. I can't wait to get out there and play all these new songs for you guys live. And there is so much awesome stuff that we were able to infuse into this record musically. there's so much like techniques and approaches that I was able to infuse into this stuff musically with like guitar that I am just like super, super excited to see how the metal world kind of receives this stuff, man. Like it's a really, really, really potent album, and I hope that it's received that way. Basically, I have a limited edition Artiste. How do I want to say this? It's like a limited edition signature guitar that's going to be available from October 31st to November 31st. And on October 15th, it's going to be going live on murderaxe.com. It's a website that I've made for this. I'm calling it the Murder Axe. What's better than that name, right? Right?
There is no better name. It's the most perfect name ever.
So on murderaxe.com from the 15th until the 30th, you'll be able to go and like reserve if you're interested in getting this guitar, and I will be calling you effectively. If you leave your number, I'll actually call you and talk to you about what we need to do to connect you with picking up the guitar between the 31st and November 31st. So if that's something that these people are interested in, this is the guitar that I wrote the entire album on. It's the guitar that I toured on. People have seen this. People have heard it. If you guys want to sound like this, pick up the Murder Axe.
Okay, so is that like a worldwide thing?
I'm almost certain that it's going to be international. Kiesel is sold internationally. It's just like paying the $30 billion import tax is probably where that's where the difference is, right? Right. And then other than that, if anyone's interested in like linking up with me as far as like working on music stuff and guitar lessons and shit like that, you can contact me directly if you wanted to do any private lessons at dansugarman.com/lessons, or you could join my free online lesson community, sugarmanslessonlounge.com. I have over 700 people in there, and I'm just constantly dropping free lessons and talking with everyone and helping them out. It's a blast. It's a really good time.